Hi guys, Liberal Conservative here, back again with another video. So, Trump just did something wild, and honestly, I don't even know where to start. He just made one of the boldest and probably most controversial moves in recent US foreign policy. This man sent US forces into Venezuela and literally captured Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela. And now he's saying the US is going to temporarily run Venezuela until a safe transition happens. Like, what? What is happening in the world? That is not just bold. That is insane. And I feel like a lot of people aren't really talking about how big of a deal this is. So let's break it down. First off, think about it. A sitting US president just sent troops into another country and captured their leader and even his wife. That is basically like kidnapping on the international stage. And I know Trump will say it's about fighting corruption, stopping drug trafficking, and all of that, because he's taking them to New York to face US drug charges. But just for a second, let's be real. When did Trump suddenly become so concerned about drug trafficking when some of his own alleged connections to trafficking related scandals, I'm talking about Epstein, are still floating out there? It makes you pause and think, what is going on? It makes you pause and think, right? It's one of those moments where you have to sit back and go, wait, the world is actually watching this happen. And the big question everyone is asking, is this even legal? Well, from what I remember from my public and private international law classes, probably not. So it's understandable that not everyone is sharing this decision. In fact, a lot of countries are mad. The UN Security Council is already meeting to talk about it. Experts are calling Trump's action a foreign military intervention, which, might I add, is generally illegal under international law unless it's self-defense or authorized by the United Nations. So in short, Maduro is gone for now. The US says it's temporarily running Venezuela, and the world is watching closely. If you know anything about Trump's history with Venezuela, you know he's been at odds with Maduro for years, calling him corrupt, authoritarian, and involved in drug trafficking. The US has also been cracking down on Venezuela's oil and drug operations for a while now. I guess from Trump's perspective, this is him going after a bad guy and asserting US power. But to critics, they call it illegal. They call Trump's actions reckless and extremely dangerous. Because you are literally talking about invading a sovereign country and taking its leader. Who even advised this? Who advises Trump? What was Trump thinking? Honestly, each day I'm starting to feel like Trump is willing to push the world dangerously close to another world war. Because this is just playing with fire. Now, here's why I care. And you probably should too, even if you don't follow Venezuelan politics. Venezuela has massive oil reserves, and any chaos there can make global oil prices spike. Like, yes, your gas bill, heating, electricity, all of that could be affected. We already have enough of the worldwide economic crisis. We do not need more. But it's not just about oil. Trump's move sets a dangerous precedent. If the US can just swoop in and capture a foreign leader or carry out unlawful operations in another country without permission, what's to stop others from doing the same? That makes the world more unstable, unpredictable, and that instability trickles down to us in ways you might not even notice immediately. This action is already causing global tension. Many countries in Latin America, like Mexico and Brazil, are uneasy about the US moving unilaterally. And for anyone focused on the drug issue, yes, Maduro is accused of cocaine trafficking. But disrupting that could spark violence and retaliation, not just in Venezuela, but potentially against US interests too. So it's complicated. And seriously, why is the US running Venezuela? Don't most countries have a constitution or a line of succession, a vice president, for example, who can take over if the sitting president isn't available for some reason? So why is Trump's administration taking control? There has to be more to this than meets the eye. I don't know how Venezuela runs, but I'm sure there's a second in command who should be taking charge, not the US trying to run Venezuela temporarily. That's what they are trying to push, that they are running Venezuela only temporarily. So yeah, even if you are not into politics, this could impact your wallet, global stability, and even international security. In my honest opinion, Trump really effed up. He messed up here. I get wanting to go after corrupt leaders, but this is playing with fire on a global scale. You can't just invade a country and take its president without expecting massive backlash. And I get it. Some people believe and will say, well, Maduro is a dictator. Sure, I agree. I completely agree with you. But there's a way to handle that without putting the US in charge of another country. This isn't just politics. This is a massive power move with huge risk. Legally, the US broke international law. Let's face it. Point blank, period. I will admit that I'm not abreast with or well educated on if there are exceptions to what the US just did, but at the forefront, the US broke international law. Venezuela could take this case to the International Court of Justice and the UN could issue formal condemnations. And politically, Trump's critics are calling this reckless, while supporters call it a bold strike against corruption. But either way, it's a huge gamble with unpredictable consequences. Beyond the law, this is a PR nightmare for the US. Allies are worried, enemies are celebrating, and the UN is talking about it. And personally, I don't want the US government setting examples like this. It's reckless, unpredictable, and the ripple effects could last months, maybe years, potentially affecting ordinary Americans through higher prices, global instability, and even security threats. The bottom line, Trump's Venezuela move is a huge deal, not just for Maduro or Venezuela, but for the US, the world, and even my wallet and your wallet, okay? It's bold, controversial, and the fallout is far from over. So, buckle up, because things in Venezuela and US foreign policy just got a lot more interesting, and that's where I'm at. Trump's move is bold, sure, but reckless and probably a huge mistake. I rest my case. Okay guys, I want to hear what you think. Do you think Trump did the right thing? Or is this a power play that worries you too? Do you think Trump or the US will face any legal repercussions? Will other countries retaliate? How do you see this playing out? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear the conversation. Just remember to keep it respectful and civil. And if you want to stay on top of this story as it unfolds, hit that subscribe button because trust me, this isn't over yet. See you in the next video.